ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our event today. This is day 2 of our seminar, day 2 of our Women's Economic Empowering New Media Digital Upskilling WEDU Seminar. Yes, this is what we do here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our main idea is innovation, inspiration, and inclusion. So as I've just said, this is day 2, and we have so many wonderful speakers joining us for day 2. Our first speaker, our first presenter, is on the theme of an introduction to training packages, the power of gender digital marketing. We know that after COVID-19, everybody is digitized at a much faster pace. And what about gender equality in this sense? Okay, we're going to be talking about all of these today. And so our presenter, she is from the Foundation for Women's Rights Promotion and Development. Now, this foundation I have to also introduce. This foundation is very important for women's rights here in Taiwan. This foundation, the Foundation for Women's Rights Promotion and Development, it is actually a very important bridge between the government and the civil society, the private sector right here in Taiwan. Now, Madame Yen is the supervisor in this very important foundation. Madame Yen promotes information exchanges between the international community and between Taiwan. Now, what she does is that she arranges Taiwan NGO to participate in NGO CSW forums, and she also organizes conference here in Taiwan on promoting human rights, promoting women's rights, and then inviting NGO practitioners from abroad, from the international community to come to Taiwan and to join these conferences. Now, Madame Yen, she also participated in CEDAW and other human rights document here in Taiwan. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome for our speaker for this wonderful presentation, Madame Yen Shiyi. Madame Yen.
Thank you for introduction, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And please allow me to speak in Mandarin so that I can speak faster. Okay. And in
the seminar yesterday, we already talked about and gave an overview of the WEDU project. Ladies and gentlemen, we also talked about why it is important to incorporate gender perspectives in new media. Today, my presentation will focus on a very important element, which is an important outcome of the WEDU project, the training package of gender power in online marketing. So I would like to perhaps begin by giving you some information regarding the background of this training package, why online marketing and gender is such a topical issue. As the MC has mentioned, our work and life are rapidly being digitized during the pandemic era. As the overall environment continues to evolve, many corporations are involved in ever-increasing media as well as marketing campaigns. For example, We Are Social, this very important survey conducted in East Asia. In its survey, the active social media users account for 71% of the total population in East Asia. Half of those are men and half are women. However, the percentage of people using social media is increasing rapidly at the rate of growth of about 10%. So in the future, this will indicate a general and very important trend, which is new media, online marketing, and the rising importance of such a marketing method. In fact, Taiwan is no exception. In Taiwan, people on the average spend about 2 hours in using social media each day, followed by Hong Kong at 1 hour and 57 minutes. South Korea, 1 hour and 13 minutes. These are time spent on your tablets, computer, and smartphones, browsing social media, using social media. So social media is attracting many people's attention, and it has become a topical issue. And the next topic I would like to touch upon is why it is very important to talk about gender equality in the era of new media. Today, the topic of inclusivity as well as inclusion and diversity have become very topical when we talk about new media and upskilling. For example, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 5 talks about achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. Bloomberg also launched the Gender Equality Index to evaluate the performances of corporations around the world. And the LGBTQ Loyalty Holdings of the United States also launched last year the LGBTQ 100 ESG Index to look at the environmental, social, and governance performances of corporations and to turn their performances into index for evaluating and praising these corporations. So now let's turn our attention to the training packages. The training package echoes with APEC's cross-fora collaboration initiatives. The Human Resource Development Working Group Strategic Plan 2017 and 2020 already pointed out a cross-cutting working group and its importance in the APEC region. From the gender perspective, we could see that there is a women empowerment working group that has already been established under the framework of APEC that focuses on different pillars for promoting women's economic empowerment. So this is a guiding principle for the various projects, women empowerment projects under the framework of APEC, with a focus on skills, capacity building, and health. Therefore, the package we're introducing today was born out of these guiding principles. So let us move on to talk about the purposes and expected benefits of the training package. The purpose is to build capacity for gender-aware online marketing and analysis for both men and women. This can be further divided into three sub-goals, if you will. First is to develop the ability to apply gender analysis methods in marketing data. This is not just to look at the gender differences of the consumers. Rather, we are taking one step further to look at the consumption patterns and how they are affected by a person's gender identity, social status, and the general perception of the environments and the different trends. And we will also be focusing on different ways of communicating advertising messages to different groups of target audiences in taking into consideration gender discrimination or stereotypes that are embedded in the general environment. So that leads us to the second point, which is to avoid such stereotypes. What is interesting is that in this past week, some big corporations in Taiwan just launched a very controversial advertisement that was criticized for being for objectifying women and women's images in mainstream media. As you could see in this image shown on the upper right-hand side of the slide, this is a screenshot of the advertisement of this financial institution in Taiwan. We hope to use it as an example and to raise awareness of the pervasive gender discrimination and stereotypes in marketing materials. And another example would be the one at the lower bottom a corner of the slide, which is to promote and advance diversity and inclusion in content marketing. So this would be the goal of our training package. The expected benefits are as follows. Number one, we hope that on an individual level, women and men will have the same opportunities to gain gender-sensitive online marketing skills so that in the future, in the era of media marketing, online marketing, the quality and quantity of gender-aware and sensitive marketing content would become the norm. Number two, on a business or corporation level, we hope that corporations and enterprises will be able to foster inclusive products to enhance gender-sensitive brand identity, to contribute to gender equality. On a society level, we hope that this training package will help to promote a more equal and inclusive future so that the industry as a whole, when they aim to generate profit, that they are also contributing to a good cause, which is to promote and enhance gender equality in the society. The training package can be divided into 3 different units. The first unit would be market analysis. The second would be strategy planning. The third would be outcome analysis. In terms of market analysis, we could see that there are 2 training sessions. The first is to integrate gender perspectives into market analysis. This is to enable the participants and to enhance their ability to describe the purpose of market analysis and the methods to acquire data relating to market analysis. In addition, in this session, we hope to help the participants to identify the gender cues behind specific products. The second session is to transform gender norms to help participants expand into new markets. This means to develop the participants' ability to integrate results of data analysis, to produce analysis reports on market positioning. Moreover, we hope to help them create products market positioning by associating the products or the corporation's image with innovative gender discourse. So hopefully, we will help to tap into new market segments by taking these measures. The second aspect of the training package is strategy planning. It can then be divided into 2 major aspects. The first aspect would be marketing strategy planning, focusing on gender awareness. We hope that the participants will be able to analyze the available resources inside and outside the organization in order to set marketing goals and plan gender-aware online marketing campaigns. The second goal for this session is to develop marketing strategies with gender awareness focus. This means that the participants will be able to utilize resources inside and outside the organization to produce gender-aware online marketing event proposals. And at the same time, and this is more focused on managers' positions so that they will be able to supervise the proposal's final execution. So, we have talked about market analysis and strategy planning. The last aspect of the training package has to do with outcome analysis. Under this theme, we have the following training courses. Number 1, Introduction to Measuring Marketing Effectiveness. Number 2, Gender Awareness Indicators of Marketing Strategies. Next, we also hope the participants will learn and gain more understanding of traffic analysis in marketing strategies, delivering gender equality values. 4, The participants will learn about gender-sensitive data analysis and presentation. Fifth, last but not least, we have also incorporated course elements such as case study discussion on gender implications, and there is also an arrangement of a final presentation so that the participants could report on their learnings of during this course. So I have given you an introduction of the three main elements of the training package. So if you're interested in the future, it would be my honor to share with you more details regarding the package. Thank you.
For this wonderful presentation. This is a very important course of training. It is helpful, it is important, and it is gender sensitive. And I agree totally with Madame Yen on the type of marketing to use, okay? You have to respect women. You can't just use marketing that doesn't respect women, because that doesn't bring you the marketing effect from women. I'm sure you agree with me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a short break, 10 minutes break, and we will come back after 10 minutes, so don't go away. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, back from our coffee break. I'm sure you enjoyed the break. I did. So we're back now into this is our thematic session 4. Previously, before the break, it was thematic session 3, of which the theme was Introduction to Training Package, the Power of Gender Digital Marketing. Now, after the break, it's thematic session 4. The topic is broadening career opportunities for women in the field of digital marketing. Now, in this session, the overall rundown would be 3 presentations and then a panel discussion to be chaired by our moderator and also with 4 panelists. Now, introducing our moderator, please welcome Assistant Professor from the School of Law from Zhengyuan Christian University. This is Assistant Professor, Professor Lin Yingjun. Please, Professor, all yours.
Okay. Thanks for your short introduction. I think that it's my honor and to can be take a chair for these sessions. I think that this session actually is quite important, not only for I think for the Taiwan and but for the all APEC region, especially like in the digital area. But how to promote like and to expand the women's opportunities. Make ensure that the woman can have more options and to have more opportunities to enjoy the international trade and even in the domestic activities. I think that is all a very hard and important issue for every government to think about. So I think that this organization committee actually they just to arrange a very wonderful speakers in these sessions. And I think that if you can just to see our agendas, there are the 3 wonderful speakers, and they actually are representative of the very different perspective and in different sectors. For example, like Zhang Mei, and I think that he can just choose in the private sectors, and also for the director, the Lipo Sophia, I think that he can just represent that the involvement from the public sectors. And also for the 3rd speakers, like the Professor Hikari, I think that he can just to representative like from the perspective of the international economics and also from academic, especially that we can also to expand our discussions from the APEC perspective. So let me introduce like the 3 speakers. The first speaker actually is Zhang Mei, and of course, like if you are in the next Q&A sessions, you probably can just call her the Jill. And the Zhang Mei actually he's the managing partner at the Wondermate, the Thompson, Taiwan. And actually, the Miss Zhang, he not only too devoted into the digital marketing, but he also devotes her working experiences in the media and account management. And even she runs the B2C business. And of course, in her resume, he highlights actually he quite enjoy learning yoga, travel, and painting. Except for the work. So I think that probably that when we in the Q&A session, we can just to invite the Ms. Zhang to share that how to strike the balance between the life and the work, especially in the digital area. And for the second speakers, the director Sophia Lipo, she was as the executive, the director of the partnership and the linkage office of the Technical Education and Skill Development Authority. And this authority actually is a government agency. And I think that the director, Sophia, can just to bring us that how we can just to promote the women's career opportunity by upskilling and reskilling, and especially to develop some training program for women and help them can really to adjust and to adapt their skills and development, and the capacity into the digital area, especially in our session is about digital marketing. So I think that we are very excited can just to hear the director Sophia's opinions. And the 3rd speaker, he is from Japan. He is the Professor Hikari Ishido, and he is the director of the APEC Study Center in Shiba University. And she also the expert of the international economics. So I think that he not only from the economic, but he also have a very wonderful working experiences at international organizations. For example, the United Nations Development Program. And he also just helped the Japanese government to formulate the issues of the trade and the investment in APEC. So I think that for the professor, the issue dot, I think that we can just to learn from that how we can really to engage with all the topics today, that from the perspective of the APEC and even from international economics. So I think that Actually, I'm quite excited that for our discussion today. So I hope that all attendants online can just to join us and can just learn many, not only something, but many things from our discussion today. So right now, I will open the floor to our first speaker, the John May. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. And today I'm going to share with you the story during my career journey. And I hope you will enjoy it. And now we are going to switch to Mandarin channel. 今天很高兴有这个机会来这边跟大家分享。那其实在收到这个题目的时候，坦白说我自己有一点点不大确定要怎么准备，因为
To speak at this forum, I didn't know where to begin. I have been in the media and advertising industry for over 30 years. I have interviewed many of my female friends, whether it's in the digital industry, tech industry, in sales position, creative content creator position, management position. I asked them a few questions when preparing for this presentation in order to gain an understanding of how gender issues have impacted their career development. I will share with you the results in a few moments. In the first 7 years of my career, I worked for an advertising agency in terms of media planning, media purchasing, just to name a few. When I came back from Beijing to Taiwan, I decided to switch track. I joined Ogilvy Direct Marketing, which is then called Ogilvy One. Today, this advertising company arose to fame when the dot-com economy was at its peak. Many of our clients were launching their online marketing campaigns and websites, just to name a few. At the point, people were focusing on interactive media marketing. Then I joined the Centauri brand, Cerebos Taiwan. I was in charge of its B2C business, which is called direct-to-consumer business today. But back at the time, it was called B2C. I was in charge of new product development, as well as marketing and telemarketing. I was also in charge of call center and the brand's consumer-oriented museum in the Zhangbin Industrial Park. Then afterwards, I joined Wunderman Thompson, and we were merged with the GWT. I think that was a very important turning point in my career. It gave me different perspectives. So as you can see that I have digital marketing experience for over 20 years on both agency and client sides. I was fortunate enough to have worked with Deloitte, SAP, across various projects. They are all related to media marketing and different aspects of the industry, thereby broadening my horizons. I also am involved in the WPP data and AI community. I am also involved in the Wonderman Thompson Global Strategy Community, as well as Inclusion and Diversity Community. This looks a lot like a resume of my 20 years of career. However, here are the important points. The leading advertising agency in Taiwan is or has always been Ogilvy. And so when I decided to leave Ogilvy, many people asked me, why do you want to leave? I felt at the time that I had hit a roadblock in my career development. I wanted to go somewhere else. My supervisor said that, I think you are just doing fine where you are. At the time, I just wanted to go out of my comfort zone. I wanted to explore what else I could learn elsewhere. So Ogilvy said you could go to Hong Kong, Malaysia, or Singapore. They offer me positions in its overseas offices. So I chose Malaysia at first, but then I ended up in Hong Kong. There was an immediate position opening in Hong Kong in 3 months' time. Many people said that I probably shouldn't have chosen Hong Kong because of the high crime rate. They said you've seen the movies that there's usually fights going on, arguments going on the streets of Hong Kong. So I thought to myself that those are most likely stereotypes that we believe to be true at a certain place after watching movies about a specific place. So after I went, I had a great time going out with my friends, going to restaurants, going to different places, and trying out and familiarize myself with the local customs. I developed a very deep emotional and personal connection with Hong Kong. I was in charge of the Greater China market in Hong Kong, so I had to fly to Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou all the time from Hong Kong. However, I felt I was only scratching the surface, wasn't really getting a deeper understanding of the Chinese market. So I asked to be transferred to Beijing. My supervisor said that, why do you want to go to Beijing? Because Ogilvy was just still in the process of setting up its Beijing office. Even the bathrooms of the office were still under construction. It was back in 1994. So people were trying to persuade me, trying to discourage me. But I already had my mind set up because I thought you have to get to know China better if I live there. So I decided that these are not really obstacles for me. And I had great experiences every time I visited cities in China. So it didn't bother me. So I decided to still choose to be relocated to China. Sometimes people, you only focus on the negative aspects of things. I have come to realize that maybe the office environment is not as nice as Hong Kong. Sometimes I visited my friends, and then they have to go to outhouse in order to go to the bathroom and things like that. It's just different lifestyles, and I ended up in Beijing. Each week I train people. I offer training to my colleagues. At the time, the advertising industry is still being developed, especially new media marketing skills are much needed in the industry. I wanted everybody to be upskilled, and I want them to develop the skill sets necessary to do a good job. So when I left Beijing and when I decided to leave Beijing, the team had grown from 6 to 10 to 15 people. My supervisor was very disappointed. That I was going to leave everything behind. My supervisor said that how can you leave everything behind, and after you have worked on it for so hard, after you've built you have achieved such important milestones in Beijing. For me, career and job development is very important. It is true. However, it is not the only thing that matters in my life. So I found myself coming to a very important turning point in my life. My father was falling ill, therefore I had to come back to Taiwan. So I made a decision to come back to Taiwan, which really confused a lot of people. So I decided to go from a supervisor, and then I became a manager, and then I moved back to Taiwan. My salary was reduced by 30%. So people could not wrap their mind around why I would switch track, and then I would accept a job that pays less than before, 30% less than before. However, I figured that it was a great opportunity for growth, personal growth, and learning. I felt that it would be a great opportunity for me to learn new skills. I was supervisor for 2 to 3 people, and I remember one of my subordinates refused to have meetings with me, and the person would give me the cold shoulder because I was new to the company. So my supervisor said that you need to be a bigger Jill, quote unquote. I need to address the situation. So I was quite annoyed in the beginning when I first moved back to Taiwan. I encountered a lot of obstacles, but then it started to settle in. I realized that there's always going to be people that have different opinions and ideas than you. There will always be people who approach and do things differently. You can't just walk away or avoid them. You will have to learn. Sometimes you just have to learn from scratch. So after I switched track, I moved back to Taiwan. I was faced with all these challenges. If I was given the opportunity to choose again, I would still move back from Beijing to Taiwan, being a supervisor of 15 people and becoming a supervisor for 2 to 3 people. It was worth it. So like I said, I worked for Ogilvy One for 12 years. In the process, I took 2 years off. During that period, I was pregnant with my second child. I was going through a fertility treatment. So I was being promoted to the vice general manager of the company. So people didn't understand because I was already in my 40s, but I had decided to take time off to become pregnant. So the doctor told me that the success rate is only 20% for the fertility treatment. So I said, okay, I'm okay with it. So I went for the fertility treatment, and I was able to become pregnant with my second child. So it was worth it to take that 2 years off from my very, very successful, busy career. And looking back, it was worth every minute. And while we were working at Ogilvy, I was having this conversation with my supervisor because we were not making enough profits, and they were deciding that who should be let go and who should stay. My supervisor said, "Oh, I'm the man. I'm the master, head of the family. I'm a guy, and I have 2 children. Therefore, I have to raise the family, quote unquote. So I cannot leave the company. So it was decided, and I also concurred that I would then leave the company, and it wouldn't be difficult for me to find another job. The employees of the company were also very disappointed and could not really make sense of my decision, because at the time, with me leaving the company, there would be enough resources to keep all the 8 employees in the office. Therefore, that was the decision that I made. So every decision I made along the way, and sometimes you often think back to the decisions you've made in your lifetime. Of course, you can't turn the clock back, but sometimes you reflect back on what you have done and what you have learned. You get to know yourself a little bit more. So I often ask myself, did I exhaust all the resources? Did I look at all the viable options out there? So I left the company so that nobody else would get fired. But maybe it wasn't the best decision at the time. However, it was what was done at the end. Then I decided to join the Cerebos company. We were in communication with our headquarters in Singapore all the time. They often said that, Jill, you are very different. They are used to working with marketing team, and they find my perspectives to be different from other marketers. I then replied that I'm not sure, maybe it's because I was working on the agency side, not really on the client side. So maybe I have a different approach. So looking back, having had worked in Ogilvy One for about 18 years, I then brought all my experience, my insights into Cerebos Taiwan, whether it's CIM or building product identity, telemarketing, everything that I handled, from everything I handled to monitoring as well as evaluating effectiveness of our marketing campaigns. You're working on the client side, and I felt I was a jack of all trades. I had to basically cover many aspects of the marketing campaign. So in the past, when you work for the advertising agency, you can blame the clients for not giving you enough resources. But now the table is turned. I found myself working on the client side. So I was able to experiment with new tools, new approaches with marketing, especially digital marketing. We failed multiple times. Sometimes we would spend millions of NT dollars in our campaigns, but the return on investment might only be a portion, might only be hundreds of thousands of NT dollars. So sometimes we feel that we have failed the company. I often tell my teammates that even if we fail, even if we had caused a company to lose money, we are here to stay. We're not afraid of making mistakes. So as long as you're falling forward, you have learned from your experiences. You don't need to fear failures. So at Cerebos Taiwan, I learned a lot. I grew with my team tremendously through this process of iteration as well as trying things out. I was able to gain many valuable lessons. I worked for Cerebos Taiwan for 7 years. I was given enough resources, and I was given a very important position. People often thought that I would just work there until retirement. Toward the end, I decided that I would like to go back to an advertising agency. And my supervisor in Cerebos Taiwan asked me, why? Why do you're an older woman? Why do you want to go back to advertising agency? The truth is that a lot of the talents have gone to China for better employment opportunities. there is a general lack of mentoring and on-the-job development opportunities in the industry. Therefore, I believe that it was time for me to go back to advertising agency to train people. And that was my initial idea. So I began another leg of my journey with Wonderment Taiwan. And I witnessed a very historic and important milestone, which was the merger and the Wonderman Taiwan becoming Wonderman Thompson Taiwan. Therefore, I often think about who am I and what I want to do, how do I achieve it, what are my strengths, what are my personal traits. In the process of inward exploration, I believe that it's very important to raise the bar for the industry in Taiwan, to promote lifetime learning, through selfless sharing. For me, this is a bigger picture. It is a more important aspect of what I do. So how do I achieve it? Oftentimes, we focus on things that are beyond our control. I believe that we need to focus on the circle of influence, not circle of concerns, and to capitalize on your strength, capitalize and focus on what you could do, focus on those who would rally for you, who would cheer on you. So if in the future, in the metaverse, in my epitaph, I believe that I would like these words to be written on engraved on my gravestone. These are my guiding principles, if you will. I believe that you need to enjoy life and embrace life. We need to have courage and be bold and courageous, where we shouldn't be afraid of expressing ourselves and be vulnerable. I think it's important to stay true to yourself, so that you could show people who you really are. This is not to show people that doesn't mean that you're showing people that you're weak. You're being courageous and authentic. It is not about showing people that you're dominant, that you're so capable. I think it's very important to stay true and be authentic to yourself. In mid-October this year, I've been saying that we've been sharing online the Future 100, this campaign on the internet. And this is a Wonderman Thompson tool for online marketing. And this really is a campaign that shows people the marketing trends and necessary skill sets around the world. And so we've been sharing this information online. So I hope you would enjoy it too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jill, for sharing with us your career in the last 3 decades. We learned how in her career, how she made all these different choices along the career, along the journey. She is courageous. She is not afraid of uncertainties. She's very authentic and honest to herself. So this attitude is extremely inspiring. Maybe later on in our general discussion, we will get to learn more about how Jill prepared herself at this every step, especially when she explored new areas in her career. And this is probably a fascinating question for us to have a conversation on in our panel discussion.
Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, thanks so much. Now it's your time. Thank you.
Yes, now is my time. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm Director Sonia Lipio from the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, TESDA. It is a government agency that is mandated to enhance, promote, and develop the skills of the Filipino workforce. Well, my discussion will focus on TESDA's initiative in empowering women through the STAR program. I'll call it a STAR program. This is called the Sari Sari Store Training and Access to Resources Program. So the entire presentation, it's just going to be STAR program. The flagship partnership between TESDA and Coca-Cola Philippines mark the goal of empowering. Oops, why are the presentation materials already there? Please go back to the first slide. Okay. The flagship partnership between TESDA and Coca-Cola Philippines marked the goal of empowering 250,000 women, enabling their economic empowerment in the micro retail sector. Well, I am confident that in this session, we will bring enlightenment and preparedness for the digital age, realizing the great potential of women as well as identifying new media skills, responding to the labor market needs in preparation for what they may come in the near future. Here in the Philippines, our agency, the government of that, TESDA, involves a lot of partners, especially the industry. We value partners in the implementation of Tibet programs. Now, what is TESDA? Okay, here, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority was created in accordance with the Philippine Republic Act number 7796 to provide relevant, accessible, high quality, and efficient technical education and skills development in support of the development of high quality Filipino manpower responsive to and in accordance with Philippine development goals and priorities. As further embodied in the said law, TESDA is mandated, in the next slide, is mandated to provide and formulate a comprehensive development plan for middle-level manpower for allocation, development, and utilization of skilled workers for employment, entrepreneurship, and technology development for economic and social growth. Now, the next slide would show that as a Tibet authority of the Philippines, TESDA, next slide, has the mandate to ensure that we are responsive to this economic and labor market changes and needs. The National Technical Education and Skills Development Plan that is for the period 2018 to 2022 provides the general directions and thrust of the Tibet sector in the medium term. The slide here is the 4.0 Tibet framework provides specific strategies to address the fourth IR requirements and how to come up cope up with the new normal and beyond. Two-pronged strategies were identified. You can see this in the gold blocks. This is the Tibet for global competitiveness and workforce readiness and the Tibet for social equity and poverty reduction. Now, the next slide, this is more about TESDA, is the 4IR framework that explains specific strategies that are more forward-looking and are focused on preparing the workforce for future skills and emerging technologies. These are not actually new concepts. In fact, most if not all of the strategies under this framework are already being implemented by TESDA. It is just a matter of recalibrating these programs to make sure that they address the unique challenges of the better normal and the fourth industrial revolution. One strategy here that I would like to point out here is on the left side, the intensification of partnership and networking with industries. A while ago, I said TESDA cannot, as a government agency, cannot do it alone. We need partners, especially from the private sector, to be able to reach out to as many Filipino as there are. Okay. Since my topic is on women empowerment this afternoon, it involves a program that involves a partnership with the industry, and in this case, a company, which is Coca-Cola Philippines. The next slide would show how strong TESDA is with regards to gender and development. There is a strong presence of the Gender and Development Program in TESDA. A significant milestone actually is the integration of the components of the gender and development in the TESDA curricula for basic competencies of the national certification levels 1 and 2. And this is indeed very significant because all Tibet providers in the curriculum would be discussing the gender and development. Now, there is also a strong presence of the GAD focal point system. Now, this system is a an interacting and interdependent group of people in all government instrumentalities tasked to catalyze and accelerate gender mainstreaming. So there is this group of people discussing and coming up with plans. Okay. The next slide would show actually why am I highlighting the Test the Women's Center. This is actually what is inside the Test the Women's Center. The Test the Women's Center was really established with the in pursuing the promotion of women empowerment and to provide work opportunities to women. Okay, the center actually advocates and intensively implements programs and services geared towards quality assured, inclusive, and gender fair Tibet, ensuring that women will be ready for self-employment and be capacitated to be wage earners. Now, the Test of Women Center, if you will be able to visit us here in our country, in Metro Manila, we will bring you to the Test of Women Center where you see women undergoing the different programs in hard or soft trade. And in this Women's Center is lodged the Center for Excellence for the STAR program. So before the pandemic, the first STAR program that was implemented for the 5 years, you can see many women undergoing the program on entrepreneurship, and that is the STAR program. Recognizing the significant role of women as potential engines of economic and community development, the STAR program was initiated, aiming to give millions of women the opportunities to reach their economic potentials and elevate their quality of life as a response to global call to put a stake on gender equality and women empowerment through the United Nations Development Goals. So that is the STAR program. A survey was actually conducted on issues encountered by Filipino women micro-entrepreneurs in the country. It was found out that the Philippine retail is predominantly traditional retail outlets. About 86% of these small-scale retail outlets, known as the sari-sari store or Carinderias, are operated or owned by women. Sari-sari stores are found on nearly every street corner. Income from sari-sari stores contributes significantly to the overall household finances that help augment the needs of the family. It has been shown that women earning an income are more likely to invest in the education, nutrition, and health of their children, therefore contributing to a viable solution towards breaking poverty cycles, not just for their families, but for the community as a whole. TESDA and the Coca-Cola Philippines forged a partnership in 2012 to develop and implement the STAR program, tailor-fitted to the needs of women in the retail sector. Gaining deep understanding of the sari-sari store operations through immersion, TESDA and Coca-Cola Philippines designed the program with the main goal of making sari-sari stores more sustainable and profitable. The STAR program enables sari-sari store owners to become better managers, entrepreneurs, and to provide the necessary linkages or support to access mainly the much-needed financial resources. The goal of the STAR program was to reach and empower 200,000 Filipino women micro-retailers by the year 2020. And on the next slide are the three components of the program. The STAR program is designed to help women retailers overcome the barriers they face to business success by providing them access to business skills and life skills training. Second, access to peer mentoring support and access to business resources. The STAR program aims to increase the economic value of women sari-sari store owners and operators. Having a definite and common objective to economically empower the target women beneficiaries by providing them the necessary knowledge, skills, and attitude that will transform them into becoming better and successful entrepreneurs, TESDA and Coca-Cola have intertwined with non-government organizations, local government units to strengthen the program and to achieve the same objective of empowering the women. The STAR program partnered with 5 reputable microfinance institutions and social development partners that provided access to resources through small loans and business support. Now you can see them, the various organizations that we have partnered, and they are actually the graduates or the trainees that we have for the STAR program can have that access to these different MFIs, so all over the country. Now, the next slide is what is now the role of the microfinance institutions. You can now see here the iStar hubs. The role of the microfinancing institutions in the training phase, this is just the training phase, includes the provision, because they will be assisting TESDA in the delivery of the training program. So this includes the provision of the facilities and training facilitators to guide their members, especially those who are computer illiterate, in enrolling and undergoing the e-learning modules of TESDA online program, or what we call the TAP. It is the TESDA online program. Now, this is one of the iStar hubs that was put up by a TESDA partner non-government organization. Before, when you see chairs side by side, because it was then a face-to-face training, this time it's going to be table by table, social distancing with the laptops. Now, the next slide would talk about the Philippine Association of Stores and Carinderia Owners, Inc. Now, why is this very important? This is actually a non-government organization that was established and put up by the graduates of the STAR program. So they convened together, they discussed, and they came up that they should take care of their own. Now, this was established by the women graduates of the STAR program to help the small retail owners unite and exchange ideas on how they can improve their businesses and share relevant information. This is their significant role, and that is the peer mentoring. After all the training, after providing access to them for the resources, then they will be the ones to guide and to mentor their members. PASCO, which this NGO is called, aims to serve as a united voice of the micro retail industry in matters affecting the micro retail sector, and implements advocacies, programs, or access services to facilitate responses to issues directly affecting the sari-sari and Carinderia as legitimate community-based businesses. Now, I would have loved to show you the audiovisual presentation of the STAR journey, but the decade of milestones and accomplishments of the STAR program. But due to limited time, we will provide the AVP to the APIC Secretariat for your viewing, if this will be allowed. The next slide will be some milestones that I will be able to relate. And, in 2015, 10,000 graduates. You can see the picture there, the slide there on the right. 10,000 graduates or more of the STAR program gathered together in the famous Mall of Asia of Metro Manila to celebrate the Women's Month, wherein the guest speaker was then former Philippine President Benigno Aquino. Now, on the left side is the president, and the STAR program was recognized, and this was included in his the STAR program was recognized as a valuable economic contribution. Okay, and this was included during his State of the Nation address and at the APEC Women and the Economy Forum. The next slide would show, you remember Typhoon Yolanda. From sustainability to marketing and even to disaster response, the 5x20 Coke Test the STAR program made significant contributions beyond being a training platform. As a response to the devastating Typhoon Haiyan of 2013, the program contributed to rebuilding efforts in partnership with the Department of Trade and Industry, the United States Agency for International Development, and TESDA. For the Haiyan Rebuild initiatives, the program received the award for corporate excellence from the U.S. Secretary of State. By year 2018, we were able to reach a number of areas nationwide. There was also the Coke Test the STAR program was also tapped for the Bangon Marawi initiative of the government, providing assistance for the recovery of those Maranao women entrepreneurs affected by the war. If you remember, in 2018, that was the tragedy, the disaster that fell on Marawi City there in Mindanao, and we helped somehow. The next slide would be the awards that were given. In 2019, the Philippine Commission Women awarded the Bronze Gantimpala Award for Outstanding Gender-Responsive Women-Focused Program to TESDA and Coca-Cola Philippines. This was a landmark recognition of the program's impact on promoting women's economic empowerment. STAR program, held as a model shared value initiative, presented at the second Inclusive Business Summit by CSR Asia and Asian Development Bank, and STAR was featured. The STAR program was featured in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development publication entitled Strengthening Women's Entrepreneurship in ASEAN. A realization that with the impact of the fourth industrial revolution has increased the capacity for innovation through digitalization, and came the initiative to increase the access to relevant business information through the web-based and electronic methodology. Okay, so again, TESDA forged an agreement with Coca-Cola, and the technical working group started crafting mechanisms to digitalize the STAR program. The digitalized STAR program, training and access to resources, iStar this time. It used to be STAR, but now it is an iStar. Next slide. This was established. A blended learning digital version of the STAR program training course was made to sustain its gains. Currently, the iStar program is offered in the TESDA online program, or the TOP, to provide access to entrepreneurial skills and training to potential micro-retailers for both women and men. The TESDA online program is a web-based platform that offers free, massive, open online courses for the technical education and skills development of the Filipino workers. Through the use of information and communication technologies, the TOP provides an effective and efficient way to deliver technical vocational education and training at the learner's own space and time. Even before the pandemic, the TESDA online program, or the TOP, has been existing. But with the pandemic, TESDA was forced to totally embrace the 4IR, thus expedited the development and enhancement of alternative, flexible, and agile TVET delivery system in terms of training method and in assessment and certification. TOP plays a very important role in the TVET delivery. 3.4 million Filipinos have already registered and accessing the 114 free online courses. TESDA and Coca-Cola Philippines co-developed the 5 e-learning modules of the iStar program, namely, so it's here, the module 0 is in safe stores education. So making yourself safe in this pandemic. And then you have the different modules here, the building business mindset, planning the business, managing the business operations, and ensuring business sustainability and success. Modules 0 and 4 are through the TESDA online program, while Module 5, as the access to business coaching, resources, and peer mentoring, is being offered by the TESDA Women's Center. The learners get a certificate of completion after completing each module as shown on the screen. Again, Module 0 and 4 are taken up in the TOP, and completers of Module 4 will have the option to proceed and undergo Module 5, which is access to business coaching, resources, and peer mentoring. There are business coaches that are being hired by Coca-Cola and TESDA to guide the learners in their business plans through the online sessions in this Module 5. After completing the modules, the learners are linked with the microfinance institutions for the access, so that the graduates will have an access to resources, and they're also being linked to the PASCO for their access to peer mentoring. With the iStar program piloted in 2021, 8,000 women and men have already enrolled. Then the next slide would show about the iStar social media. iStar social media page posts about program updates that continually encourages and directs followers to enroll to the iStar program in the TOP. The iStar program is advocated by TESDA through ads in the TESDA online program website and through the TESDA official Facebook by sharing iStar events and Facebook posts. As well as these are also advertised to the Facebook of our partners, microfinance institutions. Now, iStar way forward. Moving forward, modules will also be implemented to remote areas without internet by making these available in pre-installed devices through the iStar on the go and devote. Through the process of digitalization, the convenience and accessibility of the program was made possible. In the pipeline is actually the development of a module, and this is Module 6, basic course on e-commerce using social media for micro, small, and medium enterprises. The module aims to alleviate the increasing rate of unemployment in women and to promote the advantages and convenience of digital format learning and entrepreneurship. Through this module, the iStar program will be able to equip its participants with the needed skill set utilizing online platforms as mediums of advertisements and marketing. TESDA, as a government agency for human resource development for middle-level manpower, is committed to reach and increase the number of competent and adaptable workforce throughout the Philippines. Hence, the reiterated phrase used by TESDA, TESDA abot lahat, this which literally means TESDA to reach all. The main essence of the slogan is the agency's goal of expanding the TVET to various participating sectors, both from the private and the public, to carry out and broaden the knowledge, skills, and technical training of the Filipino Labor Code. As our Director General, Secretary Isidro S. La Peña would say, we at TESDA should ensure that those who have less in the life would have more in opportunities to increase their chances of securing their own livelihood or employment. This is our noble task. In conclusion, my journey with STAR program that has now transitioned to iStar program has been and still is amazing and a great learning experience. I have been with the STAR program since 2012 and is currently the National Project Manager of this program for the iStar program this time. Further, through this session, we also hope to encourage the participation of more potential partners to engage in the implementation of the different gender-sensitive programs of TESDA, like the iStar program. TESDA has been focused on its strategy of empowering women in the Philippine workforce, realizing the great potential of women. Today is a good day, a day as any, to say that the roadmap's implementation could pave the way towards achieving greater women's access to economic opportunities. It is good for women to be empowered. It is good for the economy to have empowered women. And with that, I would like to thank you. This is our directory. If you want to get in touch with us and to do more, for more details. And that, I would like to thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, the director, Lipios, to introduce in very detailed and comprehensively to introduce like how her agency like TESDA to implement, or we can say that elect the very whole big pictures of like to training women, especially like to increase the micro retailers or micro companies for women. They can really to earn money and to support their lives. So I think that especially like I totally agreed with the director Lipio that I say, even at COVID-19, we will say that it will be the worst the time, but it also will be the best time, especially for the especially for digital development. That we can just see that in the past 2 years, that all impossible things really happened in the past 2 years, especially for the digital market. So I think that probably like in the next session, when we just enter the Q&A, we can just to invite the director DPO to introduce like how we can just to develop the training programs that really to help the women. They can really to access to the resources or access to the skills or even the equipment that help them can really to start up their own business in the digital areas. Thank you. And then we will to welcome the third speaker, Professor Hikari. Are you here? So we can just to invite you to share your presentation.
Hello, my name is Hikari Ishido. I'm professor of international economics at Chiba University, Japan. today, because of a prior live commitment to another online meeting, I will have to deliver my speech this way first. But later on, I'd like to catch up. So let me remove my photo, moving picture part. Okay, so today's topic is how to broaden career opportunities for women in the field of digital marketing. I'd like to share with you some insights from our research on promoting trade in services by small and medium-sized enterprises and women entrepreneurs. There is a set of fixed costs associated with overseas business expansion. For example, application for visa, work permits, and compliance with regulations abroad, which make SMEs and women entrepreneurs unable or reluctant to participate in services trade. And then based on the online survey result we have conducted, highlighting female business workers' need for funds and in order to secure their financial profits with non-financial type of social values, for example, work-life balance, effectual and passively digital-based, ICT-based affirmative actions are definitely needed. So in this figure, which shows the removal of services trade restrictiveness with SMEs and women entrepreneurs in focus, there is a vertical red line representing some kind of a fixed cost against women entrepreneurs' business expansion, especially in a cross-border sense. Because of the fixed costs, we cannot expect the bulk of women entrepreneurs' participation in the services trade business. So that's why the scope for service sector business expansion or service trade expansion is very much limited in the APEC region. If we can somehow reduce the red bar type of fixed costs, then we can hope for a rapid expansion of services trade. And that is a core part of APEC Putrajaya Vision 2040. This figure shows a correspondence analysis of the survey results we had conducted. As you can see in the figure, especially the yellow part, females planning foreign business expansion tend to raise funds and family factors as very important factors restricting their potential business expansion abroad. Females not planning foreign business expansion tend to raise safety of the area as the inhibiting factor. So if you look at the bottom part, there is this label, female not planning foreign business expansion. And the safety of the area, just below the red label, is so close. But after all, these respondents are not considering foreign business expansion, and then those considering foreign business expansion, those female workers, they are really concerned realistically about funds availability and understanding from their family. And in APEC's Boracay Action Agenda, BAA, there are several policy measures suggested. As listed in this slide, support measures to widen options on financing for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, and further develop the infrastructure to facilitate lending to them. This is quite important. So practically speaking, if you could look at the middle part, promoting inclusive finance mechanisms with focus on broad-based financial products and services such as crowdfunding with blockchain-type verification processes. This would be very promising. And as for capacity building for SMEs and women entrepreneurs on the right-hand side, capacity building seminars like today's workshop on the use of crowdfunding and other financing schemes to enable MSMEs to strengthen global value chain could be held. And expanding internationalization opportunities for micro and small enterprises providing goods and services through ICT and e-commerce. This is also very important. So collaboration with APEC Business Advisory Council in identifying and promoting strategic e-commerce platforms and innovative business models for MSMEs to support services trade will be very important. And if you look at the right-hand side column, in collaboration with ABAC's Cross-Border E-Commerce Training or CBET program and other similar platforms, holding capacity building seminars on the familiarization of new technology-based services trade, including the adoption of cross-border working in Mode 1 and provision of ICT-based services would also be very important. And most importantly for today's seminar, strengthening focus on MSMEs led by women. This component is also very, very crucial. So promoting an understanding of the divergent constraints or fixed costs faced by female-led MSME especially. That is very important. And as you see on the right-hand side, ICT or digital-based technology could be utilized much more. And this figure shows the importance of, first, the network type of capacity building among stakeholders, and then to practical cross-border services experience. So both capacity building and experience are important. And third, export product fit development for SMEs and women entrepreneurs. This could be facilitated also by the government sector. Because digital technologies are oftentimes regulated by the government, and the services trade has a lot to do with the digital technologies. So let's have a look at an example next. So please view the 3-minute video as indicated below. The video clip was part of the APEC online workshop held just 1 month ago. And the lady or a female entrepreneur based in Kagoshima area of Japan, she was mentioning that she has been benefiting a lot from the trade vault system as part of blockchain technologies, which is an emerging digital technology. The essence of blockchain lies in the guarantee of trust by not being rewritten privately. The distributed ledger technology prevents fraud and tampering, eliminating the need for an administrator to secure the trust that was essential to traditional business. And paperwork will be drastically reduced because of the introduction of this digital platform, blockchain. After all, digitally edited data can be modified in any format. So writing and rewriting of almost the same type of documents so far needed, but serving as negative barriers against business expansion. These types of fixed costs will be eliminated by the introduction of a digital solution like this blockchain technology. And the second bullet point, the advent of blockchain technology may also change the way contracts, transactions, management, and proofs are handled or implemented, and make the central administrator on these unnecessary. Therefore, in a big picture sense, a decentralized society can be established through blockchain or through digital solutions, which will surely contribute to women entrepreneurs' foreign business expansion. Just briefly on the technology side, a blockchain is connecting blocks of transactions with chains. Chains mean networking by using digital technologies. So if you are a women entrepreneur, you are interested in shipping your products abroad, for example. But because of lack of human-to-human networking, you really cannot rest assured that your products will surely be reaching the customers abroad, and then you will surely get paid. By using the blockchain, you will do your part using your own block part, the first part, and then the second part, second block, which might correspond to a shipping company. They have their own block business. Block means just a set of business expressed in a spreadsheet, for example, Excel-based spreadsheet containing lots of information like when you have shipped your product to where. And then on the receiving side of the block, of course, they also have their own spreadsheet records. And then the right-hand side block, a foreign customer, he or she also might have some kind of a transaction to do using his or her own spreadsheet. If these blocks are not connected by chains, there is no verification scope. But by this digitally backed blockchain technology, as I wrote at the bottom of this slide, each block is secure, and digital encrypting technology by the use of hash and nonce. These are information technology words, but very important, will secure and facilitate the sharing and verification of cross-border chain of services by multiple stakeholders. So you must have heard of the word hashed beef, for example. Hashed beef, a very yummy food. So hashed beef means mincing the beef component. So in the same way, hashing data set will secure the original data. And then nonce. Nonce means number used once. Number used once. So nonce is a short form for number used once. This serves as a secret code and can secure the data being transacted across borders. So there is no data manipulation possible. Of course, we don't have to know the exact detail of what is actually happening inside the blockchain, but the application side is very important. That's why I have listed this figure and some keywords. So you do not have to know the technical details of blockchain technology, but you can use it very much conveniently. And then your business partners or even unknown potential business partners, they can be identified by the use of this digital solution. Because if you know the Amazon has its own what we call rating system. So if the stars are like five-star company means it's a good one. In the same way, in the blockchain, in the future, as I hear, there will be such kind of a rating system of customers and shippers, etc. So you as a small business owner do not have to worry about partnering because there is already systematic way of rating system there online on the digital solution on this blockchain system. That's the near future situation. And here is another example from the previous workshop that we had held. And then this lady is in the field of digital technology. She is running her own digital business in Canada. And she mentions that, please look at the highlighted part. She mentions that there are many challenges to international trade, such as laws, regulations, accounting, and currency rates. However, for her business, major challenges or major fixed costs come from humans. Challenges like language barriers, cultural differences, trust, and being a woman in a male-dominant digital industry. These are serving as negative costs, acting against her business expansion maybe, because she's such a capable lady, and she perceives these as barriers. And I think it's important to note that these human factors can be reduced by the use of digital solutions. Because, for example, if you are rated so highly already in the digital system, then it doesn't matter whether you are a female or a male. And this lady from Japan, she is also in the field of digital industry. And then if you could look at the highlighted part, there were three main challenges faced during her business inception. Being a female owner itself served as some kind of a negative barrier, maybe a human-related barrier. And then AI's artificial intelligence acceptance in new markets, possibly including small-scale businesses and public sectors. Building trust as a woman entrepreneur might also be difficult. That's what she's mentioning. So I think my 20 minutes is finished, but I will be catching up with you very soon and then greeting you directly right after this. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for the Professor Hikari's presentation. I think that if the all attendants, that if you have noticed that actually our arrangements of the speaker are quite interesting because we are just step by step from the personal experiences and to the community programs and even to our Professor Hikari. He just bring in like the policy perspective, especially he mentioned like the new development of the IPEX, like the Vision 2040. He just also to put the women empowerment into a very big issue to our the next the IPEC region development. So I think that when I just listened the three speakers' presentation, I think that even that we have found the different the sharing is from the different countries and from different the development of the communities and even from the different culture. However, we all agreed that actually in the digital area, it really to open the opportunity for women, but he also to bring out the challenges for women, especially like for access to a resource, access to the skills, and also to how to open a business, enter into the international trade. And also, I think that I also can share a new news that with all of you that I think that in WTO, there is a new negotiation of the GITS. Actually, it's just agreements linking to the trade in service. It just there are the 60 members that all agree that in the new provisions of this agreement, they will want to put that the gender non-discrimination provisions into these provisions. So I think that it will also echo our today's sessions that how can we just bring the gender-sensitive perspective into not only in the private sectors, not only in the commercial activities, but also to bring in the public sectors and to bring in the policy makings. So I think that all of us can just have to think about and also to discuss like how we can just to push the woman empowerment and to push the gender issues in the future. So right now we want to enter into the question and answer sessions. So before we will open the floor to all attendants and to raise the issue, to raise the questions. I want to raise a question for all of the three speakers. And this question is that from your presentation, probably that we can just think like the different countries and different regions, they have like different cultures and the patterns of the commercial activities is also quite the different. So how we can just to persuade or to promote the gender equalities into the commercial sectors. And of course, not only to like the Miss Jones, he will just to in the media or to the advertisements. Also for like the director Lipios, he just want to he just help the Philippine women today will to enter into the retailings, and also for the professor Hikari, he just mentioned that there are several examples actually in Japan or in other countries they have to use the digital technologies to access to international trade. So I want to hear that your opinions that to these questions, that how to promote the gender equality issues into the commercial activities or even the economic activities. Thank you.
我用中文回答好了，因为比较快。
In
其实
Chinese,
我觉得。
So I think we can think about this from two aspects. First, from individuals. When we talk about gender equality, we have to come back to ourselves. Are we aware of our own gender identity or our own gender awareness? Some people are aware of our own gender, but some people are less sensitive. So the reason that I raised this question is that in workplace, I think it eventually all comes back to our skills, our talents, and gender is not the only aspect that we must consider about. So we need to go back to ourselves. Do you understand about yourself? And if you can understand who you are, then you can better fulfill your aspiration. Another aspect in the workplace, when we talk about gender equality or gender inequality, In the many conversations that I have had, I interviewed a dozen or so of these workers, and most people say that they do not experience gender inequality in their career or in the workplace. But from the HR perspective, they will say that if they know that a potential employee is about to get pregnant or get married, they are less willing to hire this female employee. And this is a very honest observation. If it's very obvious, then we can identify it as a gender inequality in the workplace. But there are also more invisible phenomenon that are harder to detect, that are harder to identify. In the workplace, there are these subtle inequality or subtle discrimination in terms of talent seeking, talent promotion, or talent recruiting. So in the workplace, how do we make sure that many of these issues could be more visible? We can discuss about these issues. We can better fulfill our own potential and talents regardless of our gender. This is my observation in the workplace. Thank you, Jill.
Pio, and to share your opinions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, this is my opinion. In fact, the program that I have shared is really promoting gender equality. The very challenge that the pandemic and the 4IR is really more on the computer literacy, the access of the women to training and also to the business. The sari-sari store owners, Carinderia owners, during the pandemic, really it really affected their businesses, and that's the very reason why TESDA is fast tracking, the online programs for the STAR program and bringing and coming up with partnering with microfinance institutions and the NGOs to be able to assist in for their members and also potential members in navigating in this computer technology, and then learning how to sell their products using the social media and doing advocacy. Now, we're talking also of inskilling and upskilling and reskilling. We are very fortunate that in TESDAS, the government agency, the government is providing scholarship funds for the Filipinos, and this is not only for the employees of the agency or the industry, but as well as I mentioned a while ago, it's TESDA abot lahat. It's also the social equity, the marginalized, the women, and these are opportunities of the women, to be able to upskill, and not only on entrepreneurship but upskill their competencies in terms of, let's say for instance, if they are a sari-sari store owner, they can expand and they can enhance their skills in baking or cooking. We're in TESDA can provide free skills programs to these women online. It can be a flexible training. It's a face-to-face and also an online. So these are opportunities that the government agency in the Philippines is providing to be able to for the women. Okay, there is a gender equality, and for the women to really be able to enhance their their economy.
Thank you, Director Lipio. He just shared her opinions from the perspective of the training programs and how to enable the women to access to their the required courses online or to in their flexible times or to in their capacity. So right now I would like to invite the Professor Hikari to share your opinions. Thank you. Sorry, Professor Hikari, we can hear you. Sorry. You probably didn't open your microphone, right? Or no? No. sorry, no voice. Oh, yes, good. Sorry, could you just to raise your voice up?
Yeah.
Uh,
Hello, you hear me now?
yeah, a little.
Sorry about it. Okay, so please go on.
No. Here we lose your voice again.
Sorry about it. So please move forward.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that because of the sound technology problems, that so we probably will just to give some time for Professor Hikari to resolve the problem. So right now, thanks for the Ms. John and the Director DPO that to share the opinions that how to promote the gender equalities issues into the commercial activities. And right now, I will to open our question and answer session to the attendants online. Any questions that you want to ask the one of the speakers, or you can just to invite all speakers to answer your question. That's all fine. So any questions?那如果在线上的朋友的话，如果你们想要提问的话，那你们可以把麦克风打开。好，那只是说可能麻烦你们在提问的时候，可能可以先说一下你是来自哪一个单位哦。那你想要提问是有针对哪一个讲者吗？还是你有开放给请3位讲者都回答你的问题
Hello, do you hear me now?
Yes, good. You're back.
Oh, okay.
Welcome you.
Okay. Actually, I have two computers.
Okay. That's brilliant. Brilliant.
Second one, sorry about it. Okay, so I could catch up. Thank you so much for this excellent workshop. So what I think about, how to promote, female, business owners' participation in the services trade. Like I mentioned, the use of digital technology is very useful because, I was interviewing my colleagues about the difficulty of, their participation. And then they said, okay, when they are pregnant, of course, somebody has to, breastfeed, the baby, but of course, in the physical meeting, you really cannot bring in your daughter or baby boy for breastfeeding. But in the case of this digitalized situation, breastfeeding while giving your presentation is almost possible, no? Because of the use of digital, screening or etc. So definitely go for digital. That's a must. So that will, overcome, any kind of cultural barrier. Almost all kinds of cultural barriers, and also, time barriers. So, like I had to, resort to the digital, recorded version of my presentation. Maybe a female, business owner or female, executives, they can, make use of, this digital device, okay, for recording what they have in their mind, okay, on the board meeting or whatever. So, and then let the company accept this digital record as the official, opinion of, this person. So while you have your baby to breastfeed, or while you have your children to take care of, or while you have to, take care of other issues, you can use, digital records for official, participation in your business. And then we should get used to this kind of situation. Just like, we are getting used to having this kind of digital online, meeting, right? So let us get used to this new situation. I have so many female colleagues and female family members. I definitely want them to be successful in their own business. and in their own way. So that's why I'm really suggesting this digital solution first. Yeah, and then remove the stigma, from the society. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Hikari. So yeah, I totally agree that actually the digital solution will be the possible way like to help women like to broaden their careers opportunities, also to broaden their opportunity to access to international trade, and. But I also totally agreed with the Director Lipio. He just said in her presentation, say that this work actually could not to be done by the individuals or to be one agency. It must to be the cooperation with all the possible the agency, for example, like the governments, we need the government fundings, and we also need the NGOs, or we need some companies, especially for the private sectors, that can to realize that what is the challenges or barriers to the woman. And also we have the John May, he just share her personal experiences, like saying that how we can just to develop our the capacity to adjust into the new environment, especially as this journey actually is a lifetime. It's not just for the first time. For example, like when you just graduated from the university, probably like the time is just over. No, it's just a life learning journey. So thanks for the three speakers sharing. So I think that this time, any attendance online, so you want to raise the questions to the speakers. I think that is a very wonderful opportunity so that you can just share the different experiences and from different perspectives that we all just engage in the topic about the woman empowerment issue. Okay. If there are no questions, like could we just finally invite all three speakers? You can just to summarize or to just hint out the one sentence or the one point that you think that is quite important, especially for not only for the digital marketing, but also for the woman opportunities in the digital area. Could we just to invite the John May the first thing? Thank you.
我会建议就是其实我们在 promote 这
When promoting gender equality, we could look to other countries. For example, other countries' experiences in racial equality. For example, there are ethical scoreboards. They look at different corporations' performances and how they are faring or performing, and then there will be a scorecard that is being kept to record and track different corporations' performances in terms of promoting racial equality. And there would be, of course, a white list stating that these corporations on the list are doing a better job than other corporations. And those corporations that are not on this white list are the corporations that still have room for improvement and growth in terms of promoting gender equality. So I think we could develop a system of scorecards. We could be looking at different corporations and identify those who are doing a better job than others. In the United Kingdom, we understand that there are corporations that were founded and initiated by women. So there is a list of such corporations so that people could go to these corporations to shop, to support them. So it's not just the government promoting the advocacy.
And could you just invite the Director Lipio to help us give summaries for what is the important things that you think that is for the woman in the digital area? Thank you.
Yeah. It's really very important for women to be trained. Well, we are the government agency for HR, but it's really very, very important that the women will be really trained, especially in this digital era. And that is what TESDA is doing. Empowering them just by merely training is not the solution. Our Director General is always saying that through training, it's only in training there should be wage employment and livelihood after. It's not only about training, but there should be the result of training is the livelihood and the the wage employment. And that is what we at TESDA are doing. Now, the importance of this digitalization, and that again in my discussion, in my presentation a while ago, I emphasized really the need, the fast tracking of this government agency to be able to upgrade and develop and put online all the programs that are really needed for this flexible learning, a flexible learning. So it's not only because of the pandemic, but somehow we are already reaching the 4IR. We are totally embracing the 4IR. We were just forced because of the pandemic. Now, it's really, really very important also for us to reach as many, not only on bringing the programs, but training them on the use. Like it or not, there are still millions who do not know and who do not know how to navigate. There are still many computer illiterate women who needs to be taught how. And that's the reason why we are bringing devices, we are bringing the programs to the far away, even to the mountains, to the indigenous people, so that they will be trained, and they can see that there is a world outside their villages, their domain, and they can have access to the resources, to the training. They can have access to opportunities outside their village, and that can also be done. They don't have to go outside their village, but they can just stay inside their village, because we can have partners like the IT companies. They can be employed by international companies by doing the job in their respective homes. Okay, and that is by the use of digital technology. And that's what is the direction also of TESDA, so that we will be able to reach more, empower more on the women who are staying, especially at home, because the typical sari-sari store owner or Carinderia owner is a housewife and just coming up with a store so that he or she can take care of her children in the home, and that at the same time earn a living. But earn a living by selling the products, but this time earning a living by doing business online, selling their products online, expanding her skills through augmenting their skills to expand their business and sell this online. And at the same time, they can also be utilized. They can become literate and be experts, and be tapped as an expert also in, let's say, coming up with transcription. We can provide these opportunities if we partner with the various industry sector here in the Philippines and outside.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
my thought.
Yeah, thank you so much for Director DPO. So I would like to invite the professor. Yes.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much. So yes, there is definitely a need for some kind of online training session. And then if you could look at the chat line, I put these points. So Japan already has digital agency. About 2 months ago, this digital agency was established. It's a cross-cutting sort of agency. So a one-stop shop. And then we already have a consumers agency. And then both of these agencies are headed by women, right? So, and then it's really promising. So my first point is that, on-the-job training for real-life experiences, this is also very important in addition to online, learning or, workshop, etc. Training session. So on-the-job training should be, provided by the society a lot more to get the real-life experiences of females, workers working from home or working flex time, etc. Let them work. Let us work together. So that's what I really think is important. The second point is, the establishment of a new agency like children's agency. Here in Japan, we are talking about the possibility of having this children's agency. If we say ladies agency, that it's a bit, partial. So, okay, call it children's agency, and then think about how to educate, how to nurture our children jointly together, then of course, female, entrepreneurship workers, ideas are very, very important, right? So here in Japan, there is already talk about, children's agency, not yet realized, but we could think about, having this kind of new agency. So that's what I think. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all wonderful speakers. So, but before we just conclude this session, could we just have the group photos?
Yes, by all means. Let's do a group photo. But Taiwan CDC says now group photo is face mask off. We can do it. So do you want to take your face mask off for the group photo? Because our online participants do not have face masks. So let's show our beautiful faces, 3 beautiful ladies, and our very handsome Ishido Sensei. Ishido Sensei. Yes, let's do that. Okay, so when I say women's economic empowering, everyone does this, okay? Okay, like what Ishido Sensei did. Thumbs up, okay? Thumbs up. Ladies and gentlemen, one gentleman and many ladies, let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Women's economic empowering. Okay, everybody, applause. Thank you. Innovation, inspiration, and inclusion. Thank you so much. This is day 2 conclusion. Thank you to our moderator and our panelists. Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimashita. Ishido Sensei, hi. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up day 2 of Women's Economic Empowering, New Media Digital Upskilling Seminar. We'll see you in day 3 for more innovation, more inspiration, and more inclusion. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.